I grew up in a single-parent household, pretty much. My whole high school years, man, me and my pops didn't really have a good relationship. For me, it was definitely the time where my life was going down the wrong path. Pretty much I hung around all the dudes in the hood that sold dope, sold weed. Those was my role models. And that was family for me. It was points where I really hated my pops, man. That joint, man, really affected me and messed with my identity. How it all really started was I used to babysit this family. And one of the kids, he really loved art. So every time I would come to his house to babysit, he would ask me to draw something. Literally, the whole time I'm babysitting, I would be drawing. I can draw, but, I think I want to try this painting stuff out. So I bought a couple canvases from Utrecht in the city and went to the crib and just started going in. What I did was I started identifying things that I liked and started painting those things. Project we're working on is the first installment of paintings centered around the villains from Disney movies. The more that I started to think about the idea, I started to think about the circumstances of these villains. And the first one in particular that I thought of was Ursula. And I started to think whoa, maybe one day, what if she wasn't always evil? Even in the movie, she's combating and fighting Ariel because of how she looks. I just see it just some benefit of just telling the stories of these characters in another way. Today's been a good day, man. I haven't been painting that long. Sometimes I get a little nervous, how it's gonna turn out. I feel like this whole piece in this art show is gonna be like a stepping stone career-wise as an artist. I think a lot of people would be impacted by what we're doing, and I got really high hopes for it, and I expect, the response to be pretty good from it. This marked the beginning of something special in me dealing with my issues with identity, but then also as an artist creatively, just being more creative, stepping outside the box, doing more art that kind of challenges the culture from the standpoint of the art and just the content behind it and the cause behind it. For me, that's the biggest thing with the art is that, when people look at it, that they see it's cool and it's dope, but, they get the idea behind it and get inspired by it and get challenged. We're just in a good position, man, just to really impact some people. And I couldn't even be any more happier with the progress of day one. So it's day 2 out in Philly. Today I'm gonna just start off with the hair and go into finishing up the face, and I kind of got a cool idea of how to bring out the best of the project through this picture with something that I was sketching this morning while I was thinking about it. So I'm excited just to finish the piece and just ready to get it in. When you look at the painting, of course, you just think it's fun, and you might not think there's no meaning behind it, or it's just all fun and game, but I think that's what's gonna draw people in, just the colors and because it's so vibrant, they're gonna look at it and then they're gonna see the detail. They're gonna see the tears and they're gonna see the donut in her mouth and they're gonna see all these things that's going on, and then that's gonna start the conversation. They're gonna ask questions. What was the inspiration behind the sprinkles, the bubbles, the donut, the tears? So I added the donut and I said, if I'm gonna add the donut, I gotta add it like, she's eating a bunch of them. So I gotta have donuts floating around and the sprinkles floating around in the ocean. The fact that she's eating these donuts to medicate, and the fact that I added tears, and that the fact that she's showing emotion about it exemplifies that this is something she don't wanna do. I'm telling the story how I wanna tell it. The main thing is I wanted to touch on identity. This is just a thing that everybody struggles with, not just these Disney characters. Most of the time, we're just trying to impress people we don't even know. If you just looked at The Little Mermaid and you lined it up with society, Ariel will be the one that has a good job, has the favor with people just because she was beautiful. She had a small shape, so of course she would have more favor probably than Ursula, and I see Ursula and I see, she's big, she's evil, she's mean, bitter, it has all these anger issues. I started to look a little bit deeper and started to think and ask questions like, she probably wasn't always that way. Circumstances probably happened in her life that drove her to become this person. What if she looked like Ariel when she was growing up? What if she was skinny, had dreams, aspirations? If I took her out of the Disney movie and just looked at her as a human being, I would just say I know a lot of people like this, who are bitter through something that may have happened with them. And they medicate it through different things. Some may medicate it through eating, some may medicate it through sex, or some may medicate it through gambling or smoking, whatever. For me, I was at a point where I was depressed. I would eat candy bars like all day. And you might think that's like something that's small, but it could have turned into something else. It resonates with me, people, who struggle with stuff like that, and how they try to use food to hide or food to, make themselves feel better. What I try to do with the piece is try to showcase that Ursula is probably a person that we see in a Burger King or in a dining hall at your college who's eating and stuffing her face, and you just look at her and are turned off. It's probably some things that's going on in her that she's just trying to deal with, and she doesn't know how to deal with them. That's what I just want to portray with this whole project, that there's so many people out there who have so many things going on in their hearts, with nobody to talk to, nobody asking them questions, nobody who really cares or has any type of concern. And I want to make sure that as an artist that I do projects that kind of tells the story of those people. And I think this is one of those stories that needs to be told. And through that, my story is being shared as well.